الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وخليله وصفيه وأمينه على وحيه ومصطفاه من خلقه، صلوات ربي وسلامه ورحمته وبركاته عليه. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الكلام كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Refuge is sought in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the fire. Verily all praises belong and are due to Allah alone without any partner. We laud Him, we seek His guidance, we beg for pardon and forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of our souls, and from the consequences of our misdeeds. Those whomsoever Allah guides, no one can mislead them. And those whomsoever Allah misleads, no one can ever guide them. I bear witness and I testify with full conviction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only deity worthy of worship, alone without any partner. And I bear witness and I testify that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His last messenger and His chosen slave and prophet. O mankind, fear, be mindful, be wary, and be watchful of Allah who made you from a single soul. And from that single soul He brought into existence its partner, its pair, its wife, its spouse. And from that man and from that woman He created countless men and women. And He gave them the opportunity and He allowed them to live and dwell throughout His spacious earth. Be mindful of Allah, the one who did this for you, who made you from a man, who made you from a woman, who gave you ancestors and forefathers, who allowed you to live spaciously, freely throughout the land. Be mindful of this one who did this for you. And never sever the ties of kinship. For indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a watcher over that which you do. And He's the one who hears that which you say. And He is the one who knows that which is in your breasts. O you who profess Iman, be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfectly and thoroughly, consistently, and every time and in every place. And don't die unless you're in a state of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All you who profess Iman, fear Allah, be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and speak the truth. Say that which is correct. Don't have two tongues. Refrain from having a forked tongue. Have one tongue. Speak the haqq and be direct with the haqq. And if you do so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you of your sins. It will take those bad deeds that you committed, those ugly, monstrous deeds that you hide in your closet, and He'll turn them into hasanat, good deeds, and inshallah place them in your scale. And the one who obeys Allah and submits to the will of His Rasul, His Apostle, the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has obtained the greatest success. As to what proceeds, the best speech, the most truthful discourse is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most stellar guidance, the most excellent guidance, the most superior guidance, the best way is the way of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And from the worst things are those which are newly introduced, hearsays, novelties, because they're innovations. And all innovations are misguidance. And all misguidance leads and is in the fire of hell, the place we seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's refuge from. Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah, he says in his Sahih, in Kitab al-At'imah, the chapter or the book of foods, Bab al-Tasmiyah, the subchapter of saying Bismillah before one eats. Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, he says, Kitab al-At'imah, Bab al-Tasmiyah. حدثنا علي بن عبد الله قال أخبرنا سفيان قال الوليد بن كثير أخبرني أنه سمع وهب بن كيسان أنه سمع عمر بن سلمة يقول كنت غلاما في حجر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وكانت يدي تطيش في الصحفة فقال لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا غلام سم الله وكل بيمينك وكل مما يليك قال عمر بن سلمة رضي الله تعالى عنه فما زالت تلك طعمتي بعد. Al-Bukhari, after quoting this chain of narration, he says that a man named Wahab ibn Kaysan, who was from the Tabi'een, Wahab ibn Kaysan, he said that Umar ibn Abi Salama informed me, and he told me one day, that I used to be a young boy in the household of the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam. I was raised by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was his stepson in his chamber, in his hijr. Allah says, the hujurat, the apartments and the chambers of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his wives. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had children. And he also had stepchildren. And from those individuals, those young men and women that were not from his own loins, weren't his actual blood children, but he raised, he taught, he educated, and he nurtured, and he treated with love and respect like his own blood, was this man Umar ibn Abi Salama. So Umar ibn Abi Salama radiallahu anhu, he said that I was in the hijr of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which has a greater meaning than house. I was in his direct, close companionship. I was directly beneath his tutelage. I was in his arms. I lived with the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. I was a ghulam. I was a young man. I wasn't too old, but I wasn't too small. I was, inshallah, on the edge of becoming an adolescent. Or perhaps he was past the stage or in the stage of puberty. He says, وَكَانَتْ يَدِي, he says, and my hand would be all over the plate. When he sat down with the Prophet ﷺ, and he ate with the Rasul ﷺ, he didn't eat from one place. And the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, they didn't eat off of individual plates as we do today. We go to the restaurant, I have a plate, you have a plate, he has a plate, everybody has their own individual plates. That's not how Muhammad ate. Muhammad and his companions, they ate off of one large plate. If it was 50 companions, then perhaps they had 5 plates. If it was 100 companions, perhaps they had 10 plates. Well, how could that? They ate together, collectively. So my hand, what I used to eat, I picked up a vegetable here, I picked up a piece of fruit there, I picked up a piece of meat there, I picked up a piece of bread here, I dipped it in a broth like this and like that. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya ghulam, oh young man. He didn't say, Ya walad, oh boy. He called him a young man. He said, Samillah, say Bismillah when you eat. Do not eat before you say Bismillah. وَكُلْ بِيَمِينِكَ, and eat with your right hand. Don't eat with your left hand. وَكُلْ مِمَّا يَلِيكَ, and eat from the food that is closest to you. Umar ibn Abi Salama radiallahu anhu, he said, after the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told me those words, after he gave me those points of instruction, he says, then I continue to eat like that. In other words, Umar ibn Abi Salama radiallahu anhu, he instantly implemented the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't wait. He didn't ask, was it disliked? Is there a difference of opinion? Is there a third view? When he got the Sunnah, he implemented it. So what do we benefit from this hadith, brothers and sisters? The first benefit that we get, or the main topic from this hadith, is a stellar example of the Prophet ﷺ's tarbiyyah, of his cultivation of children. And as we said before, it wasn't his son. It wasn't his child. But he treated that young man as if it was his own kin. So we take from this example, brothers and sisters, we need to raise and cultivate and nourish our children in the Islamic manner. Many parents today, the only thing that they're focused on is the food of the child, the drink of the child, the comfortability of the child. The air conditioner is working in the summer, and the heat is on in the winter. My son goes to school, my daughter goes to charter school, Fulan is in college, I've done my job as a parent. La! That is not the only responsibility. And that is not the most important responsibility. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave the boy food. He was eating. Many parents would have sufficed themselves with my son is eating, my stepson is eating. But he wanted to teach him spirituality. He wanted to teach him morality. He wanted to teach him the Sunnah at a young age, even at the time of eating and drinking. How many Muslims today, they say, relax, after we're just eating, we're chilling, relax, chill. It's not that serious. We're on vacation. It's after Ramadan, etc. That's not how Muhammad ﷺ lived. Muhammad ﷺ was a walking, talking school. He was a walking, talking institute. He was a walking, talking role model. He was a means of guidance. And anyone who came in his contact and came in his company was someone who benefited and reaped fruits from that institute. And they sat in that pleasant cool shade. Whether it was his enemies, his friends, his wives, his children, his stepchildren, his neighbors, the Jews, the hypocrites of Medina, everyone benefited from Muhammad ﷺ because that's how he lived. So ask yourself, brothers and sisters, how do you treat your children? How do you treat your own kid, let alone your stepchildren? And it's well known in our culture, and the common urban cliche, you say what? Don't treat me like a stepchild. Don't treat me like a stepson. Treat me like your own son. In other words, don't mistreat me. And it was well known that many people mistreated their stepchildren. So the Prophet ﷺ, not only did he treat his own children kindly, but he also treated his stepchildren kindly. So how many of us have stepchildren in this masjid? How many of us are married and our wives, our husbands have children? How do we treat them? Are we nasty? Are we rude? Are we impatient? Are we hasty? Do we expect them to be guided overnight? And if you don't accept the guidance in my household, then get out of my house. Don't eat my food. Don't drink my water. Are we like Muhammad ﷺ, or are we imitating and copycatting someone else? Alhamdulillah wa kafa, wa salatullahi wa salamuhu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa, wa ba'd. From the benefits and from the fruits of this hadith, first and foremost, is the permissibility of having a stepchild in Al-Islam. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Prophet ﷺ, most of the women that he married were women that had previously been married before. Some of them had children, sons and daughters. Many Muslims today, unfortunately, if a woman has a child, or if a man has a child, say, I don't want to marry that person. That's not good, that's no good. It's recommended to marry someone that's similar to you. If you haven't been married yet, if you're a virgin yourself, that's good, that's from the Sunnah. As the Prophet ﷺ said to Jabir ibn Abdullah, when Jabir told him, he says that I got married. The Prophet ﷺ said, was it a virgin? He said, no. The Prophet ﷺ, Halla bikran. He says, why do you marry a virgin girl? And Jabir explained. He says, I have daughters. I need someone to look after my daughters. I want someone that my daughters will look up to and respect. Not a young girl like me that they won't listen and take serious. So that is also sunnah. It's also permissible to marry someone who has children. And you do not know where the barakah lies. You may think, I don't want a stepchild because he may grow up a certain way, and he may grow up like this, and he may grow up like that. But it may be your children who are disobedient and disrespectful. It may be your own children who don't want to be Muslim. It may be your own children who have no care and no concern in carrying on your family business and your lineage and your legacy. But it may be one stepson, one stepdaughter who will become a prodigy and copycat and mimic everything that you do and pass it on to the next generation. And this is known among Muslims and non-Muslims. Who was the one who had down the family? It wasn't his own son, so it was his stepson. So this is the first benefit we take from this hadith. The next benefit we take from this hadith is that the learned man or the learned woman, a father or mother, should be humble. And you shouldn't be arrogant and conceited and stuck up. This was Allah's messenger, the one who received revelation from the Lord of the worlds, and he sat down and he shared a plate of food with his stepson. He shared a plate of food with him. So the Prophet was humble. And as a wise man once said, if you wish to lead a people, then walk behind them. If you want to lead someone, walk behind that person, not in front of that person. In other words, the Prophet he taught by example. He was humble with the Sahaba. When they were building the masjid, what did the Prophet do? Did he sit back and say, I'm the messenger of Allah, build the masjid, my servants, my subjects? He carried bricks like they carried bricks. He felt the pain and the struggle and the toil just as they did. And that's why they loved him. And that's why they were willing to die and sacrifice and live their lives for the protection of the Messenger of Allah. So this is a magnificent concept in Islam of Tarbiyyah. Lead by example. You want your son to go to the masjid, you need to go to the masjid. You want your daughter to wear the hijab, then you need to wear the hijab. You want your son to be responsible, then teach him responsibility. You want to learn how to curse and swear and be this and be that and be a hoodlum and this and that, or whatever the case may be, suburbs or urban city. If you're not upon guidance, then it's baseless. If you want your children to be like that, then you have to lead them by their example. The next benefit we get from this hadith is the enjoining of the good and forbidding of the evil. When you see something that is wrong and you know that it's wrong, you should speak out against it. If you see something that is incorrect or not from the Sunnah, you should give advice. The Prophet gave advice to his own family. He didn't say he's too young, we're eating, but he said, Ya ghulam. And as another point we take from this hadith, is to instill maturity, is to instill a sense of self-worth and responsibility and honor and dignity in your child. Tell your young daughter that you are a woman. As many of the children of the Sahaba and the young girls from the Sahaba, they had nicknames and by names. Fulan, and she had no children. But just to hear the name, the mother of so-and-so, that gives that young girl a sense of growth now. She feels important. I'm in charge of someone. So the Prophet, he didn't say boy, but he called him a ghulam, young man. The next benefit we take from this hadith is that it's the sunnah to eat with the right hand. And the correct view, and the most strong view, is that it is obligatory to eat with the right hand. And it's not just recommended. And it is haram to eat with one's left hand, and it's not just disliked. Rather, it is mandatory. The next benefit we take from this hadith is that a person should start with the food that is in front of him. As for if you have a plate of various types of foods, you eat a fruit salad, and you have watermelon in front of you, and honeydew on the other side of the plate, or cantaloupe or pineapple, it's permissible to reach on the other side of the plate. But if the food is of one general type, then you should stay in front of you. The next benefit we get from this hadith is to say Bismillah before you eat. And this is a khutbah in itself, brothers and sisters. And that is, the Muslim doesn't just eat, doesn't just drink, doesn't just wear clothes. The Muslim is not someone who's purely materialistic. But the Muslim is someone who always bases everything he or she does around spirituality and around seeking Allah's barakah. I just don't eat just to fill my belly. I just don't eat just because I'm hungry or drink because I'm thirsty. Rather, I eat and I drink to worship. I eat and I drink and I seek the barakah from that food and from that drink. And if it isn't for Allah's barakah, then I'll become sick, I'll become ill, and I will not receive any nutrients from that meal. Another benefit we take from this hadith, brothers and sisters, is the virtue of this companion, Umar ibn Abi Salama. Whereas he said, when the Prophet ﷺ told me to do that, I continued to eat in that manner. So the Sahaba were people, when they heard the guidance, when they heard the dhikr, when they heard the word, they tried their best to implement it instantly. When Allah, the Sublime and the Exalted, sent down those verses in the 5th chapter, commanding the companions to avoid intoxications, to avoid wine. Do not drink wine. Indeed, wine is from the handiwork of the devil. It's rijis, it's filth. It's something that hinders you from the prayer, hinders you from Allah's dhikr, causes malice, causes hatred, causes envy and rancor among each other, gambling and drinking. The companions, what did they do? They used to drink, and they used to drink a lot. They became drunk and cursed each other. And some of them attacked each other with their swords when they were drunk. The companions, their culture was based around alcohol, as many other cultures were. But when Allah sent down that verse, what happened? They poured out their kegs. They broke their gourds. And the narration states that wine poured in the streets of Medina. How many other people would have done this? Alcoholism is from the worst addictions. Some experts say that it's worse than other types of drugs, cocaine and heroin. More destructive to the body, more ruinous to the internal organs, and harder to get off of. What is the thing that drives a person to be stuck on liquor? To be a drunkard, to drink wine every day, all day. As we say, is a fish. And he instantly pours out the wine and lets it flow in the street. He doesn't sell it. Let me get my gourd. Let me put it up. Let me give it to someone. Instantly pour it out. Except for Iman. And that's what the Sahaba had. That was the lifeblood of their lives. It was Iman. It was the fuel in their engines. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those parents who have a great deal of love, care, and concern for our children. Ameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who have a great deal of love, care, concern, and compassion for our stepchildren. Ameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who teach and educate our children what is proper and what is improper. Ameen. We beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to educate us of the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. And allow us to be of those who implement it and to translate it into deeds. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa aqim as-salam.